Cyber Sleuth Summit. Say that 5 times real fast. I say that a lot, but man, it is not easy. It's like I named that. I thought it was cool, and then you go to actually say it on paper. It looks great. It looks absolutely great uh, with the naming. Who knows? Maybe I'll change it again. Couple quick housekeeping things before we get started, and I pass it over to Rich here. Is over on, I think, that side of your screen, right side of your screen is where it's at for me. You see a couple different things. You'll see chat, you'll see participants, QA. Also, we have a closed caption option. It does not turn on for everyone by default. You just have to go in and hit closed caption, and then you'll see it if you choose to use that or not. And those are the main things that we're going to use. If you have a question, you can go ahead and put it in the Q&A. Try to avoid it in regular chat because sometimes the regular chat gets a little interesting, right? They're going and going and going. We may miss a question. So try to throw it in the Q&A if you can do that. Other than that, I always like to ask really quick where everyone is from. Just a city and state. If you're out of the country, obviously that too. Out of the U.S., don't give me your specific addresses, right? You know, Rich might show up at your house. All right, awesome. Hey, with that, man, Rich, I don't know how many years I've known you. It's been a minute, maybe a short time. We don't want to give away our age there on this.
Yeah, minute's a good word.
Yeah, for sure. We were just talking about old patrol days. So yeah, it's been a minute. Rich is with ADF Solutions, and I tell you what, if you want to know triage, this is your guy, and that's what he's going to talk about today. So, Rich, I'm going to pass it right off to you, sir. And if you need me, I'll be hiding in the background.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Let me get my screen up here. All right. Good day, everybody, and welcome. Glad to see everybody in the room. I know everybody's got choices, and thank you for choosing to be here for the next 45 minutes or so with me. I'm Rich Frawley. I'm the Director of Training at ADF Solutions, and we will be going through triage, smarter, not harder, and kind of just focusing on uniqueness in cases and trying to get your optimal results. PowerPoint's going to be fairly short today. Typically, I'll do like a thought leadership type and spend the 45 minutes on a lot of information. Here I'm focusing in on the uniqueness, the case elements, the implications, when we're going to get into a demo. Not necessarily a feature dump. I want to show you some of the things I'm going to talk about, how they were implemented in a triage, and kind of show you the differences and what you're able to do. So when you put that thought process to mind on hey, I want to do triage, this will hopefully help you out. And I'll leave room for questions and answers at the end, and I'll look in the panel I have over here to see if there's anything as well. So again, Rich Frawley, Director of Training. I have been with ADF Solutions 10 years now. As a matter of fact, I think yesterday I finished my 10th year with ADF. Prior to that, 23 years in law enforcement, 17 of those as a forensic examiner and investigator. Started our computer crime unit in our department where I was up in Connecticut. If you do the math, that puts us back to the turn of the century. Yes, I am a dinosaur. Yes, it was the late 1900s. All that good stuff that we say just makes me feel a little younger every time I do one of these. So yeah, it's been a while that I've been doing this. 23 years in law enforcement. When we first started it, as you can imagine, digital evidence was everywhere. Computers were everywhere. No phones yet, but a lot of work, especially as it was catching on. So very quickly, I learned the value of being able to triage out in the field and not bring everything back when I could. When I couldn't, and I had to bag and tag everything, I did have a dedicated station set up in my office where I can start running what was coming up next to do back there and triaging, what didn't need to be looked at, what needed to be looked at. So I implemented that and still had a very big backlog. A lot of varied cases. Part of ICAC, that's where our initial funding came from. We used to be an Internet Crimes Against Children satellite, and they used to fund those way back when. And that eventually turned into the affiliates. But yeah, I've done all sorts of cases. Like if you looked at my top 5, 3 of them were probably where the victims were children and had statements that were spot on, being young and being able to tell a story that was so accurate and having that come to a great ending, if you will. I did a jury tampering case, which was awesome. And I also did a government corruption, if you will, where a lot of the evidence ended up coming from a copy machine, believe it or not, from within a city hall building. So that was interesting as well. So why is triage important? Helps cut down on that backlog I was just talking about. That's one of the reasons. Triage does a lot. Triage, when looked at the right way, helps you make decisions. And that's exactly what it should be used for. I want to make a decision. That's what triage is for. Now, what decision do I want to make is going to determine how you're going to run your triage. It's very easy with tools today to just say, I'm going to go out and run a triage, plug something in, and either you planned it and you wanted to see A, B, and C, but you ended up just seeing A or not seeing anything at all, or it took too long, or it took too short, or you didn't know what to do in the second step. It happens. Or you're conducting a triage. You go, I'm going to conduct triage, and you don't get what you're expecting, and your confidence level to leave it behind isn't there anymore. Now what do I do? Now I got to bag and tag everything anyways. Not necessarily lost time, because now you have information from that device that you may be able to use going forward. But just a couple of things to think about, when you're going out. I want to make a decision. How am I going to make that? What do I need to make that decision? I'm going to talk about a couple different types of triage that help that. Awesome for interviews. And I'm going to get to this in one of the other slides, but first and foremost, above and beyond the digital evidence is the good old-fashioned police work. And part of that is a good interview on scene, putting the person to that computer or phone or whatever you have. So taking some information from the device, using it in the interview, getting that person, your target, your suspect, to say, yeah, that's mine. Rather than there's going to be analysis information that can help, but having that interview to put them there is just great. On scene, if you don't have an on-scene program and you have a backlog, you can do triage in the lab like I was talking about. I had a table set up and I would just hook things up and let them run and change them out, walking in and out of the office, and be able to put my devices in a lane. This needs to go first. This may have something on it. This has nothing on it. It goes back into evidence. And then my next case was all set up. So decisions, cutting back on that backlog, some of the big things that you want to do. Where it matters a lot, first and foremost on the list probably is child exploitation cases. It's almost built for it, with the urgency, with the uniqueness of those cases. Unique in what you're looking for, unique with hashes, unique with IP addresses, unique with usernames and such. Just makes it a lot easier to do a quick triage, see what you get, what you're expecting in the right places, and be able to go forward. Also with that is, when I get into the next slides of the types of triage is not only, okay, I saw what I wanted, we're taking this computer, this one's important. If you're in a situation where you're not the lab, your department doesn't have the lab, and you're sending it somewhere, if you're bagging and tagging or doing a triage and saying, yeah, these are the ones that need to go, and you're not taking a little bit more information to keep that case going, then you still have to wait for whatever the turnaround time is, for whatever that lab's backlog is, right? So look at it as a starting point. I'm going to do the triage. I'm here for X amount of time on this search warrant anyways. This is the most important computer. I did find A, B, and C. I found a threshold. I found 3 images. But let me grab some more artifacts. Let me grab some more information that's pertinent to me continuing preservation orders, maybe a search warrant, maybe another arrest warrant. But now you get to keep that while the computer still goes to the lab, still goes to where it needs to go for that deeper dive, or that complete comprehensive sweep out the corners, put no victim on a shelf type exam, right? So differentiating, it's still triage. It's not end all. Important thing to remember, you're not solving the case with triage. You're making decisions and moving forward from that point, rather than maybe 3 weeks down the line when you get some information back. And that therein lies the force multiplier, the buzzword, if you will. The work you're doing on scene, the information that you're gathering, the decisions you're making are making an impact later on, making an impact on the lab with less backlog, making an impact on your case where it doesn't become stale and you've made an arrest, making an impact by you have the ability to do preservation orders as soon as you're back at your desk with information you grabbed. Just exponentially climbs. The more you get out of your triage, the easier things are later. And cost-wise, maybe you reduce some other licenses, or the low cost of this more than pays off the time spent on the backlog. So start looking at issues or things like that when you're starting to do your triage. Again, that force multiplier, I read this just because it's the definition, right? Any factor, process, or strategy that dramatically increases the effectiveness, output, or productivity of an individual or group, such that the resulting effect is significantly greater than the proportional input of effort or resources. Again, the input on the triage, there's a little bit of work at the beginning. Conducting it on scene is within that search warrant scope that you're on anyways. It doesn't cost a lot to do triage, typically, depending on the tools you're using. It's easy to use, easy to learn. Cutting down on the bagging and tagging, what's being brought back, which there cuts down on the backlog. You're able to prioritize which devices are first. You're able to leave grandma's pink iPad behind. And you have that information to continue forward. So it's just all that information for that. Where I want to get with this today and focus on is being unique. So triage is built on finding specific things in your case, right? So unique things in your case. If my subject's target's name is Mark Smith, I'm not going to be doing a search for Mark Smith. It's just there's too many false positives involved with that. I need to find something else to focus on in order to get the information. Unique, and where am I going to look on this device? Right? How am I going to look at this device? If it's a computer, I'm going to focus on the user profiles. 90% of the data that you're looking for, maybe even higher, is in that one location. So focus on there. A lot less time to do what you're looking for in one area. You can always do a quick search and then, move on to the next search, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But we are collecting the data that's going to allow us to make informed decisions. That's the whole point of this. You want to extract and exploit, right? Know your case. Read your cyber tips, read your reports, read your statements, and pull out what sticks out to you. We all have that in us doing this work. You're able to look at something and say, that's not right. Gut instinct. Same with uniqueness. You're going through something, hey, there's a phone number that's unique to this case. Hey, there's an IP address that's unique. your victim or your witness or whoever it is comes in and they have a printed out text message at the beginning of the case. Hey, here's what they sent to me. And you notice something's misspelled, right? Perfect to carve out and use as a keyword. It's unique. It will get you what you're looking for a lot faster than just grabbing all the text messages off a phone and trying to filter through that, right? You're still going to do that, but that keyword is going to focus in right where you want to be on the conversation. So misspellings, usernames, I always say before the @ symbol, especially with email addresses, they're really unique. And rather than using a whole email address like @Gmail, username @Gmail, cut off that @ domain because they may be using several. But yeah, the initial, make sure, again, this goes way back to with making sure that what they're using are what's you're looking at with screen names, right? The most recent one I've seen was Microsoft in a phishing case, right? So the word Microsoft, when you're looking at it in the font that's in on the screen, it looks like it says Microsoft, but if you look at the M, it's an R, it's a lowercase r and a lowercase n put together, and it looks like an M. So if you know that type of stuff and you search for that, that's unique. You're gonna hit on that right away. So knowing those type of things help you. Specific statements that were said, IP addresses, all that. Find the uniqueness and then use that in your decision-making process, in your keyword list, in whatever you're going to be looking for on that device. And then there's consensual situations where I always link triage to, because it's about getting information upfront, quick, and off a device without having to necessarily wait for an exam or an acquisition or an image. A lot of times victims, witnesses in consent situations, they're reluctant, and this way of kind of following the triage pattern allows you to get that information that you need to continue your case. It looks like I did not put a slide in here that I wanted to talk about the 3 types of triage that I labeled myself here. There's one that I call the threshold scan, or the show me, right? Show me 3 images. Show me 1 image. I mean, it's contraband, but for charging purposes, show me 3 because that's what my statute says. Show me 3 videos. Show me 3 pictures. Show me anything. Show me their username. Show me the IP address, and that's all I need, and I'm on my way. Right? It's quick. May take a little bit of time, but not a lot of time. You're on a search warrant, but that's all you have. You have that information. You're bagging and tagging. And if you don't, there's no confidence level. So you're pretty much bagging and tagging everything, but you may have labeled your most important one because you found the information on that device. The next is early case assessment, what I call. That's the continue on. I did my show me. That's still part of it. But now give me some more artifacts. Give me some more information. Tie some things together so I could make a solid decision on scene, but sit back at my desk and do my preservation orders. Was I able to get usernames and passwords? Was I able to find other media accounts that they may be uploading to? Was I able to find somebody they're sharing with, right? So I have referrals that I'm able to do that day rather than waiting and maybe missing out because they got to the accounts and deleted them. And then the third is critical incident, mass casualty type situations where it's like a show me, but it's more directed. I've been using, the assassination attempt, right? It's an enclosed area. There's lots of phones, lots of video. Which ones are relevant? Which ones are not? Can I just grab it? If there's nothing on their phone, take it and leave. If there is something, let me just download that and let people go on their way. You're not necessarily looking for your suspect at the time, but you're looking for information that you can get quick. And this triage type helps with that, and maybe helps you make a decision on whether you need to actually take the phone or not, depending on what you're seeing on it. But we'll get into some of that. So things to remember here. especially with doing consent or triage. Triage used to be a dirty word. Kind of not anymore because it's almost required in some situations. But you know your case better than anybody else. In consensual situations or with triage, you know whether you could use triage. You know what the risks are. You know kind of whether they're being handy or not. And what you need to do. But if I have a victim or a witness in a consensual situation that I'm like, I don't have enough to take it yet, but I use that time for an interview. Okay, here's the phone. Let's take a look at it. Me and you, you're willing to give me your WhatsApp chats from Saturday because that's when the incident was. But since we're sitting here, I got it hooked up. Let me look at it. I'm going to take some screenshots. But before that, you mind if I go into settings and just get your account information so when it goes to court, I can show it came off of this phone? Can you show me where this is? It's kind of learning their ways. Are there any other apps that you may have talked to people on? Just walking through your case kind of give you a little bit more confidence, and you're collecting information at the same time. So using that collection time as an interview with consensual situations. Let me now move on to show you some differences in the types of triages that I've done, both computer and mobile here. We talk about uniqueness. We talk about show me or threshold scans. We talk about early case assessment. So I've done some scans on here. And I'm just going to show you a full scan of a device. And this is after the acquisition. Let me just double check this here. So this is just, no, this is a hard drive. This is a computer. This is just a demo, Windows type computer, right? There's not a lot. It's not a heavily used computer, but I've pulled whatever I could off of it in a short amount of time without targeting anything. No specific keywords, no hashes, just give me all this information and let me go through it. You can see there's a lot of information on here. This is demo again. I'm going to show you a full one from a computer in a little bit, but it's the times. This took 6.5 minutes to do this scan on this little demo. If this was a laptop that I was running this scan on that was supposed to be quick and get all the information, maybe it takes 20 to 40 minutes, let's say. Okay, but here it was showing at 6. I can go into my galleries, and for those of you who have seen me talk before, contraband is something that you're looking for in a lot of these cases, child exploitation, right? So when you see a dog, do you know what a dog looks like? It's the same with contraband. When you see it, you know it. So I would have to come in here and start looking for it and seeing what we have. And this is just, oh, there we go. I have some. Okay, that didn't really take me long. Maybe it was 20, 40 minutes. I come in here, I see my videos, I can start going through here. But I have no keywords, nothing specific. I kind of have to do searches. Is the word Komoko on here? Yeah, okay, I found 3,672. So yeah, I'm on Komoko's phone, but now look how many times I've got to look for this. So is it good? If I can get that in 20, 40 minutes for early case assessment, maybe doing a little more, I could probably close the case with everything I've grabbed. But let me go a little farther. Let me go to the show me. This scan was a threshold scan. It took that same data that was 6 minutes, only took 1 minute and 32 seconds. It collected 10,500 files. 26 of those were hits on child exploitation keywords and file names, low-hanging fruit, right? LS, PTHC, right? I'm getting unique. Hussy fan, age categories, LS, BD series, Angel Island, whatever series you have, Baby J, right? All those search words, they're very unique. And however you look at whether it's substring or whether it's regular expression to focus in on word boundaries and stuff, it's unique. So I got 26 hits right away, but I also collected 10,530 images from the user profile. And if this was a phone, this might have been an acquisition. Maybe it was a gray key that I got a full file system off of. But I want to see what's on that before I go any further. Show me. Do the keyword search. Just grab 10,000. Just grab the images and you can go through it. So with this, I hit my threshold. If I go in and look at my 26 pictures here, as I bring them up, I can see I have each one of the keywords and how many times it hit. You know, there's hussy, there's 2. I can go to my preview. You can see I'm getting my hits. So I have it. A minute and 32 seconds, I'm done with this data. I have 10,530 to go through. If I come in here, the keyword hits, which is something that gets brought to the top, at least here in this tool. Here's your keyword hits first. That's what I'm going to show you first. And then you'll see the rest of the images that are on this device, right? So right up on top, I come in here, minute and 32 seconds. There it is. Contraband, sees it, it goes. I don't really have anything else. I can do a little bit more analysis. I can start looking again. Is Komoko on here? It should be, because this was the same data, right? Yep, 3,672 hits across. So I'm in the right place. We're seizing it anyways. So show me full scan, 6.5 minutes. Show me minute and 32, collecting the 10,000 files. Now let me focus more on just the keywords and hashes. Maybe it's specific hashes from a cyber tip. Maybe it's my Project Vic Cat ones, or even Cat 2, just to see what I have on here. So this took 18 seconds, a little more focused. Threshold, show me. Same results as less, but I cut my time, right? Here's my 32 pictures. Again, there's nothing else because that's all I wanted it to do. And there's other ways to configure where I can say, just show me thumbnails, don't collect images. But this one was, if it matches, collect it, mark it for me. And now I have this. I have 32 pictures, and I can go through. Yes, it's illegal to have, but quickly I can start coming through here to see where they are. This is a duplicate. There's 2 of them. The second one is in a user-created folder. I have no problem with that. Boom, done. Now the interview, who was behind the keyboard when this happened, right? With videos, it found 8 videos on keyword hits. Really fast, we have what's called frames view. And what that does is it's significant frames. If it's a static picture of a dog's head, right, you're not going to get that many frames, but you're going to see what you're looking for in that video. Here, it's, you know, a lot of things changed on the screen, so the video changed. It's not a big, long video. But here's a movie, right? So you can see quite clearly what might be in there, might not be in there. And you can just set it on this frames view and go in up and down each video and get a good idea what's in each. If you believe it's something that might have it in it, you can play it in here as well. But it's still quick, still threshold. Didn't learn a lot. I don't have a lot to bring back, but I know I have them on the right place, right time. It's going back. I did it in 18 seconds onto my next computer to do another scan, or next phone. Next one here is early case assessment. You're going to find here, this was a little more targeted. I did the keywords in the file name, but I added up some hashes, some CyberTip hashes. I looked for some unique keywords. Again, those are keywords that, and the key to unique for me, if I didn't say it before, is what's going to be on this computer or phone that's not going to be on somebody else's, even somebody else in the house, right? So that's why I can use last name if it's a unique last name, if it's the victim's last name or something, but I expect to find a boatload of keyword hits on the suspect's computer and very few, and maybe only false positives on a child's computer or grandma's computer or phone, right? So unique kind of helps me in that way. I'm going to find it here, but I'm not going to find it anywhere else within reason. I don't want to sound so, it's not going to be zero, right? You're always going to have some type of false positive when you're doing keyword searches. But very unique. 274 is letting me know, hey, I'm in the right area. Hey, here's my CyberTip hash. I found 203 now that I've done a full, little fuller of an exam. This is not as comprehensive as I could have been on this scan. I didn't run as much as I did in that full scan earlier with nothing. I pick and choose what's going to help me make a decision. Installed applications, peer-to-peer, are they using it? What's in there? Some of the ones that are important to me as far as artifacts go are peer-to-peer, messaging on phones and, on computers if they're still doing that type of stuff. Recent files on computers, download history, if you can get that, both mobile and computer. What else? Recent files. So things that I'm going to be able to link to the files, right? I have this file. Where did it come from? Came through a download. There's 3 recent file entries, and I'm going to show you this here in a second. But this was 1 minute and 34 seconds. You remember my show me collected all 10,000 images, and it also, and that was from everywhere, 10,000 images, no keyword hits, no scans. Did find some stuff. I was able to take it, and it was about 1 minute and something. This one, I pared down the amount of artifacts that I can start tying things together, did my unique keywords, did my unique hashes, right? So if I go into my unique keywords, you can see the name Shard Lake. In this situation, Shard Lake is another person contacting the user here. They're either trading back and forth, or it was a victim's last name or something like that, right? So when I do that, I can see I had 2 hits in calls, 14 hits in messages, and it's going to show me that here on the right, and 1 saved contact. So without even doing analysis on that table, I can say with confidence, Shard Lake is a contact, has been messaging and calling the person who has this, the user of this computer, right? Komoko, he's the user. I would expect to find a lot of those hits in here. So there's 18 files with the name Komoko. There's 91 browsing history records. There's 22 download history records, 1 message with that name in it, and 114 recent files with that name associated with it. So I know I'm in the right place there. And then Bulldog and Dalmatian I used as victim names. So I have files. I have 5 files. Some of them are pictures. I have browsing history. So maybe they searched for this person. They downloaded at least something with the victim's name on it. And then there's recent file entries with that as well. So uniqueness just brings me right to where I want to go. And in minutes, I'm able to look at that information and start putting that together. My hashes, again, there's 203 that were found. If I go to my gallery, all up on the top, right? All here for me to see. You can see the colors on the bottom. That means they've been automatically tagged because I put them in. It says, if you find it, tag it. It's marked with a little red magnifying glass saying hey, this is a match on a hash or a keyword, so we're bringing it to the top of the gallery for you. So those 203, I even have it filtered by the tags, are up on top. This picture here, I kind of showed it before, that bulldog. There's two of them. It was a duplicate. If I go to the one here, this is where targeted triage helps, right? Minute 34, I come in here, I look at these pictures. It's in a user-created folder. It's in John McCready's user profile in a folder called Komoko, Komoko Bad Day, Dogs, and Bulldogs, right? So user-created. Virus didn't do that. Someone with knowledge of this computer did. Good interview will put it to there. Date and time that it was last written and the file created. Again, we don't hang our hat on the times, but it lets you go into a timeline on the computer to see what was going on around that time as well. A lot of the other information, you got the hashes from it, the matching hash value, the integrity hash value, what it was on the computer as opposed to what it was when it was collected, and then we matched it. So you have all that. You have it in MD5, you have it in SHA-1, but we have linked artifacts. This came in through a download. That's pretty good information to have if I'm making a decision on scene, right? There's the browser that was used, the user that did it, the date and time that it was downloaded, where it came from, image source RU, so it came from a Russian image hosting site. So now I have that type of information. If you look at the name of the file, right, that's a naming convention. I'll be able to do some searches on that to bring up all the pictures that came from image source. Just a lot of information in here that's very unique. But the download history and the recent files, is it a link file? Is it a jump list? Is it a MRU from the registry? But that's goes towards user manipulation, right? This picture was opened. How was it opened? When was it opened? So again, bring this quickly, minute and a half, a little bit of analysis come in here, show me my linked artifacts. Oh, okay, here's a picture. Let me do a little more digging on that. So if I'm making a decision, am I taking this person off the street? Good interview, good data here. You downloaded this, you saved it. I could put you to numerous pictures on here. Maybe I get them off the street today. That's how much the uniqueness makes a difference. I didn't do any of this analysis, right? I didn't put these together. It was already put together for me. Just a time saver, force multiplier, helps you make those decisions. Not only that, if this was run live, which this one wasn't, but if you're running live on a Windows machine on a computer, you can get usernames and passwords out of the browser history. So if they save all that information, you got information for preservation orders and such. All right. And now what I like to do, so I showed the show me, I showed the full scan. I ran my triage scan that I ran on that other data that took 1 minute and 34 seconds. I ran this against a Lenovo Yoga that is somebody's computer, right? It wasn't demo data. This is a forensic image file of a Lenovo Yoga that somebody used every day of their life. And I got 0 hits on the hash set, 0 hits on my unique keywords. I got 12 hits on child exploitation keywords and file names. Okay, so far that's my only clue that maybe this computer has something on it. Go in here, hit on baby. Nope, that's ShopRite baby shampoo. It hit on BLS. Nope, that's a Windows file that it hit on. LSM. Nope, those are some DLLs to a program. Clear. This computer, so 128 gig Lenovo Yoga that gets used every day, 5 minutes and 27 seconds. I can confidently leave that behind. I can go into photos and I can start looking through here as well to make sure there's nothing that I missed. I can filter, I can sort, I can do whatever I want, but let's say within 10 minutes, I'm going to be pretty confident that there's nothing on this computer. and I'm going to be able to leave it behind. Maybe this is grandma's Lenovo or pink iPad, as I always say. But yeah, so full scan, show me ECA. I'll do screencasting in a minute, collecting files, Chromebooks. Let me show you on scene as we're coming up to the end here. I like to show that data, and that's computer. I was showing you computer data because I can get a lot more off a demo thing that way than messing around with the phone sometimes. But it's the same. You get the same data, you get the same uniqueness, you target kind of the same way. But on scene, one of the biggest problems is mobile devices. When we get on scene, what are we doing with our phones, right? A lot of people, yeah, you're not going to admit to it, but you get on scene, you're going to say, let me look at this phone. Is there anything on it? I want to leave it behind, and we thumb through it. We solve this problem here by connecting the phone as if you're going to do an advanced logical acquisition, no different than any other tool. You got to get the phone prepared to make a connection. You make a connection, you put it down, and you come in here and you let it run. What it's going to do is start making an advanced logical acquisition. It's not a full file system. We don't have time for that. We're not breaking security features. We are making an advanced logical acquisition so we can start showing you what's on that device in real time. This is just taking an extra second because I am streaming live, and that takes some of my computer processing power. But it is caching the files here. So when this comes up, when it has enough data to start showing it, you'll see what we've asked from it. It's a subset of what you might get out of an entire logical acquisition. And this is why it's live TV, folks. Now I'm wondering if I did something to that phone yesterday. Let me just disconnect this for a minute. All right. As soon as I disconnected it, it started. I'm in, folks. And that's another thing. Triage, just don't be impatient. You're not asking for everything, but what you're asking for may take a couple of minutes to come across. Okay. Like I said, I'm impatient. Streaming got me. There we go. I got a couple more minutes here. I am going to show you that preview here in a second. I did run it this morning. There we go. Yeah, even that's taking a little bit of time. The streaming's got me beat. Let me come back here. Review scanned results. Preview of a mobile device. So when you bring it up in real time, it starts filling in all for you. This ran complete in 4 minutes 22 seconds and got this information. Again, a limited subset of what you would get out of it actually, because we're only looking for certain things in a preview. But one of the things it does right away, within seconds, you can come into the gallery, start seeing your multimedia, your pictures. So as soon as this opens up and you go to the gallery and look, it says to me, hey, there's 3,070 pictures available to you logically. Again, remember, it's not a full file system, so you got to see everything. But it should give you a good idea of what's in there. You can start filtering through and looking. And again, if dogs are contraband, I'm well on my way to just stopping this and save. Whatever you capture, it's a start. You don't have to wait for finish. You stop it. You have that to report on. I saw it. Hook up the next phone, start doing your preview. That one's on its way being bagged and tagged on scene. Also, again, like with the negatives I was showing you before, you can let it run and be pretty confident that there's nothing on there. If you're not confident, you can move up and do some other kind of scan. If you're looking at files or it's victim witness consent or there's something you need right away and you want to bookmark it, maybe you did thumb through something and you saw it, it's not going to come out in an advanced logical. They tell you, hey, that's in my signal file. Here it is, but you want to bookmark it right there on scene. You can come in and start doing screen recordings and screen castings, right? You cast into the tool and you start taking the pictures or the screenshots, if you will. Date and time you took it, hash value of the screenshot you took, device that it came from. You can see it in the preview. You can make comments on it as you're collecting it, and it is searchable. We run OCR against it. So if I was looking for John or Komoko, I can start looking for that keyword. There's 2 screenshots that have the name in it. That's the owner of the phone there, and just shows it's the owner of the phone, his email address, and his phone number on this one. So it helps you get through that. Great, again, victim witness consent type situations. You can collect files if you just want to take some pictures or videos off. They're on there logically. You can do an MTP connection and pull those down connected without having to send it to somebody. And then just let me show you Chromebook. 2 different ways to do it. There's a logical mobile acquisition that you can do. It's live. It's remote or over the wire, if you will. And then the other way we have to get into Chromebooks, because these get triaged as well on scene, you can screencast through HDMI from your Chromebook into the tool. So not only Chromebooks, Xboxes, PlayStations, if you got them in the lab and you're cloning drives and you're doing manually with a camera, you can put it right in here, HDMI into the tool, take your screen captures, log it that way. Again, date, time, hash values, integrity hashes, and you can see here whatever was on my Chromebook, pictures, internet history, gallery, settings, whatever you need to screen capture, you can. All right. With that, I don't see any questions in the panel. I don't know if anything came across general chat, but I know Kevin has been monitoring that. Let me just jump back here. A couple things to remember. Triage is the beginning. Oh yeah, no worries. I'm done in a second. Triage is the beginning. You can stop at any time. It's targeted. You don't want to get everything. That's beginning triage. Everybody goes, well, let me just see everything. But again, that's like asking somebody to print everything that was on the computer, right? It's going to take forever. You don't want to do that. It's for decisions. Remember that at the beginning. What decisions do you want to make? Just show me the images, give me information so I can keep it going. No, I'd really like to walk out of there with them in handcuffs, right? You can still do it really quickly with confidence. And it does require thought, right? It's not just, I'm going to go triage. You got to go through your statements. You got to go through your reports. You got to use the unique attributes of your case. With that, Kevin, sorry, was there any questions or anything? I don't think I missed anything.
Yeah, there was one in the chat. I don't know if you saw that one. It was kind of buried in there. It says, does ADF Pro assist with malware investigations?
Depends on what you're looking for, but absolutely. I mean, if you've got hashes you're looking for, if you've got signatures you're looking for, certain types of keywords, yeah, you can focus in. If there's certain file types, that you can add your own file type on the advanced level of this tool. You have a file extension or header that's not typically supported, you can add that and search for those All depends on what you're looking for and where it may lie. But there's usually ways to cater it to that information. Be more than happy to talk to anybody about it. My email address is up there. I want to thank you for your time. Like
Awesome.
I said,
Awesome.
choices.
We're going to head back to the floor. Rich, thank you very much. You guys, there is in the lower left, right-hand corner. Yeah, left and right. Man, I didn't even finish basic elementary. Make sure you guys hit the applause. And there's a little clapping hands down there. There you go. All right, Rich, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys back on the floor, and we'll get ready for the next session.